Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is the game preview ahead of Everton's Carabao Cup second round fixture against Huddersfield Town tomorrow evening, 7:45. Kick-off, obviously Everton coming off the back of a 2-2 draw against Leeds United on Saturday and previously a 3-1 win in our Premier League opener against Southampton last week. Coming into this Carabao Cup second round fixture with confidence, I think obviously, 4 points out of 2 games in the Premier League is a good start. We would have preferred to have had 6 points and maybe on another day we would have had 6 points, but 4 out of 6 is a good start to the Premier League season. And obviously we face a Huddersfield team who are currently sitting 10th in the Championship. Couple of mad results over the last couple of weeks for Huddersfield. Obviously beat Sheffield United, who were in the Premier League last season, 2-1 last time out. They beat Preston 1-0 before that. They suffered a 5-1 defeat to Marco Silva's Fulham side just before that. Drew at Derby in their opening Championship game of the season and in their opening Carabao Cup fixture, their first round Carabao Cup fixture, they beat Sheffield Wednesday 4-2 on penalties. I believe the game ended 0-0. And it went to penalties and they won on penalties. So they've had, again, like I said, Huddersfield have had a relatively decent season as well. 2 wins and a draw in the Championship with 1 defeat and obviously a win in the Carabao Cup first round. So Huddersfield will be coming into this game with confidence as well. But obviously the onus is on Everton to go out there and do a professional job and get the win. I said it when the fixture was announced that this isn't by any stretch of the imagination the easiest fixture Everton could have gotten, to be honest with you. Obviously we could have gotten a Premier League side which would have been significantly more difficult than Huddersfield, but Huddersfield Town at home, obviously in front of their home fans, again one of the first times since obviously fans return to stadiums in a full capacity. They're a decent they're a decent Championship side. They were in the Premier League only a couple of years ago, and like I said, we could have gotten a much easier fixture if we could have gotten a side from League 2, League 1, but we've got a side that I think will definitely challenge Everton, and of course it is away from home. I'm not too sure how we're going to watch the game, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it's being televised on Sky or BT or any of that, and I don't even know if it's being televised at all anywhere in the world, so could be a little bit of a difficult one to try and watch this game, but certainly a game that Everton should be going out and winning, and hopefully winning convincingly as well. And that's no disrespect to Huddersfield. Obviously we saw at the beginning of last season Everton started very strong in the Carabao Cup, wins against Fleetwood, Salford City, as well early on, and they all formed part of that 7 wins out of the first 7 games at the start of last season. Hopefully Everton can sort of gather a similar momentum this season, and like I said, make it 2 wins and a draw out of our first 3 games. It will be difficult. Huddersfield will be up for it. They'll battle, they'll make it physical, they'll make it difficult for Everton. I do think we'll see some changes. Obviously, over the last couple of Premier League games, we've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin start. We know Dominic Calvert-Lewin is either still suffering from or only just recovered from a foot injury that kept him out of, Everton's final pre-season game against Manchester United. He hadn't had much of a pre-season anyway. In fact, he hadn't had any pre-season, obviously, because he'd been away after being with the England squad for the Euros. We know Richarlison has played an awful lot of football over the summer as well with Brazil, so he might get a rest. And it might be a chance to see the likes of Anthony Gordon in the squad, the likes of Moise Kean in the squad, and give those players an opportunity to get their head down, work hard, and show why they should be a part of this Everton team going forward. It's a test. It is a test. It's certainly a test that we should overcome. But it's a tough test. Nevertheless, like I said, we will get into our predicted starting 11 a little bit later on in the video, so don't forget to look out for that one. But it's another away game, another chance for obviously the Everton fans to go and watch us away from home and hopefully make the atmosphere absolutely fantastic. I think Huddersfield have not been too kind with the away allocation because they're looking to try and get as many home fans in the stadium as possible, obviously to give them as big of an advantage as possible as well. But I certainly don't think Huddersfield are a team that we should be overlooking, to be honest with you. Like I said, it wasn't too many years ago that they were in the Premier League, and I know they come up and they went straight back down, but they were showing a lot of quality, and they were showing a lot of ability, and they've got players that'll fight, and they'll make it difficult for this Everton team. And I think Rafa Benitez, it's always the question, isn't it, when you get into these early rounds of the Carabao Cup and early rounds of the FA Cup, is how many changes do you make? Do you still keep some of your core first team in there and obviously go out and ensure you've got the best chance of winning the game possible, or do you take players out through injury or through rest? And I do think we'll see a lot of changes, to be honest with you, in the starting 11. Mainly for the reasons to that. We played Brighton at the weekend, which is a difficult game. Obviously, Brighton have started the season really, really well. And again, like I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's situation, he's not had a pre-season whatsoever. He has carried an injury over the last couple of weeks. Richarlison's played an awful lot of football. So Huddersfield will understand that. Huddersfield will know that, and they'll be looking at this game thinking, it's an opportunity to come at Everton and make it difficult, make it hard, make it physical, and battle with an Everton side that will probably have players in there that haven't played an awful lot of football recently, certainly not competitive football. But on the other hand, it's an opportunity for those Everton players that will start the game to go and impress and show Rafa Benitez why they deserve to be in and around this squad. We saw Moise Kean, obviously, who's back at the club now just before he left Everton last season to go to PSG. He played in the earlier rounds of the Carabao Cup. He played against Fleetwood. He played against Salford City, and although he scored a penalty in one of the games, and he scored a decent goal in one of the others. I think it was Fleetwood. He scored the goal when Nkunku back heeled it. He didn't look fantastic in those games. He didn't look like he was showing anything that you'd think, right, okay, this lad deserves to be in the starting 11 of a Premier League game. This lad deserves to be the next to Dominic Calvert-Lewin or battling with Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the number one spot. And the hope is now, for Moise Kean, I think Moise Kean will start this game. Like I said, we'll do our predicted starting 11 in a moment, but specifically just for Moise Kean, I think wherever Moise Kean's heads are, he has to simply perform in this game. He has to play well. If he wants to stay at Everton, he's got to show that he can turn up against, like I said, a decent Championship side. Currently sitting 10th in the Championship, had a decent start to the season. Obviously, we are only 4 or 5 games in, so it's very difficult to gauge any sort of form or anything at the moment. But if Moise Kean's wanting to stay at Everton, he's got to go out there and show that he can put a performance in. He can work hard, he can battle, he can, get in the mix, he can fight, and he can take chances and score goals against the side that, he should be taking chances and scoring goals against. But also, if Moise Kean doesn't want to be at Everton, if he wants to leave the football club, if he wants to go and play for PSG or somebody else, or the club in the Champions League, then go out there and show that you're more than capable of beating a second division, English side, and showing your quality and showing your ability. Because, like I said, last season when we were in the same situation, he didn't really look great, did he, in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup? I know he scored, and you could say that's all he was asked to do, but he didn't really look fantastic. So it'd be nice for him to go out and just be absolutely amazing tomorrow and blow everybody away, if he does start, of course, which the assumption is that he will. And then, like I said, we can all be sat here happy, and ultimately he's only done himself good. If he goes out and scores a hat-trick tomorrow, then if he wants to stay at Everton, that's a positive. If he wants to leave Everton, then for him it's a positive, isn't it? Because he's gone out and he's done a job in the game that he started. And same with some of the younger players, whether you see Anthony Gordon's who might start, you might even have Jarrett Branthwaite starting in there. It's important for these players to go out and put a performance in, and it'll be a test as well. It'll be a real test, because there's been a lot of rumours and murmurs over the last couple of days or so about the likes of Anthony Gordon. Should he go back out on loan? Should he go back out to the Championship? Well, again, if Anthony Gordon does go back out to the Championship, he's not going to face many more difficult sides than Huddersfield, who are a decent side, and will battle and will fight with you. So, ultimately, this is an opportunity for him to go out and show that he is a level above the quality of the Huddersfield players who are Championship players, and he's able to stay within this Everton setup and be a positive and have an impact on this season. But I do think we shouldn't overlook the game. I think it'll be difficult. Like I said, at the moment with fans returning to stadiums and, clubs all around the world, and specifically in England, Premier League clubs, Championship clubs, even, League 1, League 2 clubs, with obviously, fans returning and it being back to full capacity stadiums for the first time since obviously, prior to the pandemic. I think coming up against any side will be difficult, because, the fans obviously will be on the side. The atmosphere will be bouncing. We saw it against Leeds on Saturday. I was there myself, and the Leeds fans were brilliant. The noise was fantastic throughout the majority of the game, and they really made it difficult for Everton. And coming out of that game with a point, when you look back on it, is actually a pretty decent point given the atmosphere and given how up for the game that the Leeds fans were. And I assume, and I can only guess, that the Huddersfield fans will be exactly the same tomorrow evening. Like I said, obviously they managed to beat Sheffield Wednesday in the previous round of the Carabao Cup 4-2 on penalties. So again, they'll be coming into it with with a lot of obviously confidence. Like I said, decent enough start to the Championship season. Obviously, they suffered that big 5-1 defeat to Fulham, and I think Fulham are going to be a real difficult side in the Championship this season. I think Fulham are going to be a side that could even bounce back up. Obviously, managed by former Everton manager Marco Silva as well, which is really interesting. So yeah, again, like I said, other than that, a couple of really big wins, and a couple of again, performances that I think Huddersfield fans will be very pleased with, which is important. Got the likes of Danny Ward, of course. Again, he's a player who's been around the English game for a long time, hasn't he? And a lot of Rolando Aarons, who again, former Newcastle, I believe, linked with Everton heavily a couple of years ago. Lee Nichols, goalkeeper. Jordan Rhodes, of course. Levi Colwell. They've got some good players. Juninho Bakuna, of course, again, remember him from his days in the Premier League. So again, players that will fight, players that will battle, and players that will work hard for the shirt. And ultimately, Huddersfield, I think, will be looking at this game and coming into this game thinking this is a chance not only for us to go out there and progress into the next round, but to also beat a Premier League side with a lot of quality, and a Premier League side that, for me, Everton's aim this season should be to win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. We can talk about European football, we can talk about European qualification, we can talk about finishing in the top 7, top 8, top 6, whatever we want to like. Listen, if you had to say to me, Cam, right, there's two options here. You've got one hand, you win the Carabao Cup, Everton win the Carabao Cup this season, or the other hand, Everton finish 6th and get in the Europa League. Or even, forget that, Everton finish 5th and get in the Europa League. I'm taking the Carabao Cup all day long, because I've said it time and time again. I said it at this point last season when we were doing the preview for the Salford game, or the Fleetwood game. Everton simply aren't a club in a position to throw away cup competitions. It's as simple as that. Whether we like it or not, Everton aren't a club that are in a position to go, yeah, we don't really care about the Carabao Cup. We'll throw a weakened team out against the Premier League team because we're not really bothered. We're focusing on the league. Yes, you have to focus on the league as well, because you play much more, you play a lot more Premier League games than you do Carabao Cup games or FA Cup games. But Everton's sole priority going into every single season, now when the board, when the management staff, when the players sit down before the season and say, right, what is our number one goal at the very top of that list before anything else, it should be to win a trophy. Because we're a massive football club, Everton, one of the biggest football clubs in world football, and certainly one of the biggest football clubs in English football. I think we've won the 4th most league titles in out of any club in the country, and we haven't won a cup for 25 years, something like that. 26 years, and it's not good enough. It's simply not good enough. I'm 22 years old. I've been following Everton for my entire life, being a season ticket holder for over a decade. I've never seen Everton win a trophy. It's not good enough. So, and I know Rafa Benitez isn't the type of manager to just misspell cup competitions and throw them out the way and overlook them, but it's simple for me. It's absolutely simple. Everton aren't a club that are in a situation to just turn down games like this. It'll be a difficult game, but we have to put a strong enough squad out to the fact that we know we can go out and win it. Now, there will be changes. Players will get rested. Players will be taken out because, again, like I said, we have a difficult game against Brighton coming up the weekend as well. But we simply have to go out and win this game of football, and we have to go out and win every single cup game that we play in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, because, like I said, we aren't a club in a position to just dismiss cup competitions and say, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. We're more focused on the league this season. For me, every focus should be in the cup games, and that's not me saying go out and play the strongest start 11 we can do, because obviously we'll have one eye on the game on Saturday against Brighton, and we know that players, some players are in the squad haven't had a pre-season whatsoever, some may be carrying injuries, so there will be changes. But the changes that are made and the players that are coming into the squad should still be more than good enough to go out and get the win on tomorrow evening, of course. And like I said, first and foremost, Huddersfield will be a difficult game, but this Everton team have simply got to understand that winning a trophy is paramount this season. Winning a trophy is paramount every season, every single season, because we're a club that have been starved of success. I want to see Everton go out and be absolutely brilliant tomorrow. I want to go and see Everton blow Huddersfield away. And if we don't, and we only win 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0, whatever, then it doesn't massively matter as long as we go out and get the win. But like I said, in these early rounds, you don't see it as much, because in these early rounds, you might see a few changes, but it's still more than usually a strong enough team to go out and get the 3 points and to get the win. It's in the latter rounds against the Premier League sides that you've really got to start putting your top team out. But like I said, we can't overlook Huddersfield. Huddersfield are a good championship side, and a championship side that have got quality within that squad. Will battle, will fight, and they might not have better players than Everton, but they'll have hard working players. And there's that old chestnut, isn't there, of that old saying of hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And you know what? How many times have we seen teams from the Premier League go up against championship teams or League One or League Two teams in these types of games and lose because the players just haven't been up for it. The players have turned up and thought, right, this will be a dud, we'll walk around here, we'll beat these 4 or 5-0, we won't even have to think about it, and then we'll get off and we'll get home. And I know Rafa Benitez isn't the type of manager to have that mentality. Rafa Benitez isn't the type of manager to say that, those words to his players. It'll be very much that this will be a difficult game and we've got to go out and get the win. But Rafa Benitez will know, as well as we all know, that winning a trophy is absolutely his aim one for the football club. And I know short term, that may be a little bit short termism, and you might say, for long term gains. Carlo Ancelotti said it when he was Everton manager. He was asked what's more important, finishing in Europe or winning a trophy, and he basically said finishing in Europe. He said, I get that the club is being starved for success and we need to win a trophy and this, that and the other, but for me, in terms of long-term success, playing in Europe is the more important thing. And maybe that's right, and it probably is right in terms of signings and being able to bring players in and being able to improve the squad and this, that and the other. That probably is absolutely spot on. But for me, if you were to say Everton finished 7th, or Everton finished 8th with a Carabao Cup this year and don't finish in Europe, or Everton finished 7th without a Carabao Cup and finish in Europe, I'm taking 8th with the Carabao Cup, because I think you get a European place if you win the Carabao Cup anyway. That might be wrong. That might be just if you win the FA Cup, actually. You definitely get one if you win the FA Cup. But like I said, for me, winning a trophy is absolutely is number one priority. And tomorrow is a big chance for Everton to go out and show that, even against a side like Huddersfield, who again it will be a difficult game. We go out and we win the game. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11 then. I do expect it to be changes. Do I expect it to be a lot of changes? Who knows? We'll wait and see. Let's get into it. In goal, I'm going for Asmir Begovic. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of changing goalkeepers and swapping goalkeepers, and I think Jordan Pickford would be able to play this game comfortably and be absolutely fine with playing the game. I don't think he'd have any real issue in playing this game on Tuesday evening. However, I think Asmir Begovic is shown in the pre-season games, even when he come on against Manchester United, when we were 3-0 down at half time, he's shown that he's a solid goalkeeper, more than a good enough goalkeeper to step in tomorrow and do a good enough job. And I think that Asmir Begovic will be given the chance to do that. Obviously, Rafa Benitez has put the trust in him in the pre-season games and given him his opportunity. Jordan's been brilliant over the last couple of Premier League games, hasn't put a foot wrong whatsoever, hasn't had an awful lot to do against Southampton and Leeds, but has done what he's needed to do well. But I just think typically, as a lot of managers do, you'll see your number 2 coming in for the first few rounds of the cup competitions, and I think Asmir Begovic will start, and I've got no issue with that. He's a brilliant goalkeeper. He hasn't made a mistake since he's been at Everton, and I think it'd been I've spoke about this before. Listening to Ben Foster, obviously Watford goalkeeper's got a podcast and a YouTube channel, and he spoke on his podcast a few weeks ago about being away with England at the World Cup. Roy Hodgson in 2014, and Roy Hodgson allowed them to play the last group stage game because I think England were out at this point. I think we got knocked out in the group stage, didn't we, in the World Cup? England were out at this point, so he just said, listen, Ben, thanks for all your time. You've been brilliant in the camp. You've been working hard. You've been helping people out. You're going to play this game, and it meant so much to him. And again, similar to the Asmir Begovic stuff, I'm sure Asmir Begovic is doing brilliant work at USM Finch Farm. I'm sure he's helping Jordan Pickford out massively, so I think he'll be given the chance to play this game, and again, no issue with that. Left back, I'm going to go for Luca Dean. Obviously, Niles Nkunku could get his chance and could start, and again, wouldn't have any real issue with that. We haven't really seen Niles Nkunku at all, really, during pre-season. I know obviously he went away with France to the Olympics, and therefore obviously was away for a large part of it. But we haven't really seen him an awful lot. I think he come on in one of the games, might have been the Man United game actually, in the last couple of minutes. It all rolls into one now, the pre-season. But I just think we'll still see Luca Dean. Look, Niles Nkunku, when he played in the earlier rounds of the Carabao Cup last season, was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Didn't put a foot wrong. He looked energetic. He looked brilliant. He was getting down the wing. He was throwing crosses and he looked amazing going forward. His future is obviously, again, it's up in the air a bit, whether or not he'll go out on loan, whether or not he'll stay at Everton. We know, obviously, Thierry Small is, I think, moved on now. We've heard nothing from him. I don't think he'll be an Everton player anymore. So, again, that decision there to move Niles Nkunku on, that might be out of change now, given the Thierry Small situation. We know, obviously, last season Ben Godfrey played at left back when he needed to, when he was called upon. Fabian Delph has played there before, dare I say it, although, who knows what Fabian Delph's future will hold at Everton. But, again, I don't think Rafa Benitez will make 11 changes. I don't think we'll see an entire new starting 11. I think we'll still see, players that, again, have played for the first couple of games in the Premier League and obviously are good enough to, to play in the Premier League. And I think we'll still see them, those players tomorrow. I don't think we'll see a full, completely changed 11 players. I just don't think we will. So, I think the left-back position is one of them where we'll see a Luca Dean continue. Maybe he won't. Maybe Niles Nkunku will be given a go. And again, I'll have no real issue with that, to be honest with you. I think Niles Nkunku is a fantastic young left-back and certainly got a massive future ahead of him. But I just feel inside me that Luca Dean will be given the chance. Centre of defence, then this is where it gets a bit difficult. I've gone for Mason Holgate and Jared Branthwaite. Obviously, Jared Branthwaite coming off the back of quite a significant injury at the back end of last season. He's been at Finch Farm. He stayed at Finch Farm, I believe, when the squad went over to Florida to continue his rehabilitation, and he's been on the bench in the first couple of Premier League games. Obviously, he hasn't come on, but he's been on the bench and available for the squad. My big issue, obviously, with having Mason Holgate and Jared Branthwaite as a partnership is that they're two very, certainly Jared Branthwaite's a very young and experienced centre-half, and Mason Holgate is still hot and cold, isn't he, really? But I look at it and I think there's not many other options. We don't really know what's going on with Ben Godfrey at the moment, whether or not he is still in isolation or available or injured. We don't really know. So my assumption is that Ben Godfrey isn't going to be fit and available for this game, even if he is back insane, and he's probably not likely going to be match fit to play this game. Obviously, Yerry Mina played a really difficult, really tough game against Leeds at the weekend. Big physical encounter with Patrick Bamford. So my gut instinct is that Yerry Mina will be taken out and given a little bit of a rest ahead of, again, a difficult game against Brighton at the weekend. So then you're looking at Mason Holgate, Michael Keane and Jared Branthwaite. And again, I don't really want to see Michael Keane and Mason Holgate, as a partnership, because I think they've shown against Southampton that they're not the greatest partnership, are they, defensively? Maybe it'll be Michael Keane and Jared Branthwaite. Obviously, Michael Keane made another mistake against Leeds. I think it'd do Michael Keane good to just come out the team, to be honest with you. Even if it's for a couple of weeks, just come out the team and have a little bit of a rest and take that pressure on him. The last thing Michael Keane needs is to start tomorrow and make another silly mistake that leads to a goal, because everybody will be back on his back. But then that only leaves you with one partnership, doesn't it? Mason Holgate and Jared Branthwaite, which is a very inexperienced partnership. However, I think Jared Branthwaite has shown before, certainly in Premier League games towards the back of the season before last, that he can be it was the season before last, that he can be, he's more than good enough centre half. I remember him playing against Aston Villa and being absolutely fantastic. When football returned from obviously the suspension. And yeah, like I said, it'd be really, really nice for Jared Branthwaite to get a go tomorrow and see how he does. And like I said, there'll probably be players that play tomorrow that Everton have got the viewing of sending them out on loan this season. And the idea of playing them in a game like this will be to show other teams, maybe Championship teams, maybe lower Premier League sides, that look, these players can go out and do it against the Championship side and look really, really good in doing that as well. So come and loan them out and they'll go out and get experience. And that's why I think Jared Branthwaite will start. And then I think Mason will be the experienced centre-half next to him. At right-back, I've gone for John Joe Kenny. I think Seamus will be given a rest, and probably rightly so as well. Obviously, right-back situation is one that is under a lot of discussion at the moment amongst Evertonians. We all know we need a right-back. We all know a right-back is number one priority for me in regards to transfers. Whether or not we'll sign one before the window slams shut, we can only hope, but it would be silly for me for Seamus to play this game, given the fact that, again, we don't know whether or not we'll have a new right-back by Saturday to play against Brighton. Seamus Coleman is more than likely. At this moment, Seamus Coleman will play on Saturday against Brighton at this current moment. Whether or not we'll have signed a right-back by then is, again, a different discussion. But at this current moment, Seamus Coleman will be playing against Brighton on Saturday. So if that's the case, I think John Joe Kenny comes in tomorrow. I don't think you will get 100% out of Seamus Coleman tomorrow, and then 100% out of Seamus Coleman on Saturday, even including given the fact that he's just played 90 minutes against Leeds, literally 2 days ago. So for me, it'll be John Joe Kenny at right back. John Joe again, decent player. I don't personally, for me, I don't think he's good enough to be Everton's right back going forward. But in a game like this against the Championship side, he should be more than good enough to step in and do a job. In the midfield, then I've gone for Abdoulaye Doucouré and Jean-Philippe Gbamin. Again, Abdoulaye Doucouré obviously played the first couple of Premier League games, looked absolutely amazing in the first couple of Premier League games as well. He really has. He's looked brilliant, and hopefully we get to see another absolutely fantastic Abdoulaye Doucouré performance tomorrow. I don't think we should be too worried about Doucouré. I think he's more than capable of playing tomorrow, maybe playing 70, 80 minutes and then coming off for maybe a Delph or somebody like that to come on and replace him, but I think he's more than good enough and fit enough to play the game tomorrow and then play on Saturday against Brighton. Of course, there's an international break coming up in a couple of weeks, so he'll probably get a rest then, and again, like I said, I don't think Rafa Benitez will make 11 changes and completely change the squad around. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré will be in there. I do think Alan will come out. Obviously, again, I was really impressed with Alan against Southampton. Thought he played really well, and I was really impressed with him against Leeds on Saturday. I thought he was brilliant in that game as well. But given the fact that, obviously, again, we know that sometimes he can struggle with his fitness and stuff, I do think Alan will come out in tomorrow, obviously, to give him a little bit of a rest ahead of the game against Brighton on Saturday. And therefore, I think Jean-Philippe Gbamin will step in, and I'm actually really excited to see what partnership Jean-Philippe Gbamin and Abdoulaye Doucouré could create. I think they could create a really strong partnership, and a partnership that could even be good enough to play in some Premier League games going forward. I really do. And that's what I hope to see. Obviously Gbamin had been out at training. I think he was isolating for a week or so. Returned to training earlier last week. Was on the bench on Saturday against Leeds. Never come on. But hopefully he gets his opportunity to start and play a good chunk, where even again whether it's 70, 80, maybe even the full 90 minutes tomorrow, and show that again he's more than good enough to have an impact this season. Because I think Jean-Philippe Gbamin could have a massive impact on this Everton this season. He will be like a new signing, but we're going to have to see that at some point, aren't we? So hopefully he starts tomorrow. I've gone for Alex Iwobi in the number 10. Again, it could be a 4-4-2, and you might see Iwobi on one of the wings. You might see two strikers up front. But I've gone with Iwobi there as well. I thought he played well against Leeds. Nothing magical. Played a really good ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which Dom should have finished. Again, the James situation, we don't know whether James will be back. We don't know whether James will be... We don't know whether James will have returned from his isolation period anyway, and B, we don't know whether James, even if James has returned, he'll be match fit to even be part of the squad tomorrow. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll start. Maybe he'll be on the bench. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But I've gone with Alex Iwobi on the assumption that we don't know what's going to go on with James. And on the wings, I've gone with Andros Townsend on the right and Anthony Gordon on the left. Obviously, Andros Townsend coming on against Leeds, not starting, done okay when he come on. Couple of good balls into the box, never really done an awful lot. Started against Southampton the week before. I think Damari Gray will be given a rest. I think Richarlison will be given a rest, to be honest with you. More so Richarlison because of how much football he played in the summer. Damari Gray would probably be okay to go and start and play the majority of the game and then play against Brighton, but I just think he'll be given a little bit of a rest. So I've gone with Andros Townsend on one of the wings, Anthony Gordon on the other. Like I said before, similar with Jared Branthwaite, big opportunity for Everton to either look at Anthony Gordon and think, right, okay, you're more than good enough to be a part of this squad this season going forward, or you probably need another loan move to try and get yourself a bit more experience, and then the hope would be that Anthony Gordon goes out and impresses tomorrow, and the Championship side's phoning out left, right and centre saying we want to take him out on loan, but again I think he'll get his opportunity. So I've gone with Townsend and Gordon on the wings, and then I've gone with Moise Kean up front. Big game for Moise Kean, big game. Like I said, don't know whether it was just me, but I wasn't massively impressed with him when he come on against Leeds. He done a little bit of running around, and granted, I understand that he's coming on with 3-4 minutes to go, and that must be massively frustrating for him as a player because he wants to be playing a lot more game time. He wants to be given, I think, more responsibility. But I just think there was a couple of occasions that he maybe could have done a little bit more. He maybe could have, again, chased the ball a little bit more, or chased this man down a little bit more, and he didn't. But this is a big chance for Moise Kean. As I said earlier on in the stream, whatever Moise Kean's future will be, whatever he wants it to be, if he wants to stay at Everton, then if he starts tomorrow, it's a big chance for him to go out there and show Rafa Benitez that he is more than good enough to battle with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He shouldn't just be getting 4 or 5 minutes at the end of a Premier League game. He should be starting games. He should be coming on with half an hour, 35 minutes to go to change a game. or if he wants to leave Everton, which at the moment, in my opinion, seems like the more likely option, then he goes out and shows that he can do it against again, a decent second division side in English football, and whether that's, again, PSG that are looking at him, who I highly doubt now they've got Messi, or various other teams around Europe. Moise Kean is going to go and want to play for the team that are in Europe, probably want to in the Champions League. So then it's up to him. The onus is on him to go out and show tomorrow that he can turn up and he can perform. What I don't want to see is him waltzing around, not looking interested, just sort of not literal hands in his pockets, but you know what I mean, hands in his pockets, just, again, not really looking bothered because he doesn't want to be here. Go out, and if you don't want to be here, show the clubs that may be interested in you why they should be interested in you. Go and show your quality, and if you do want to be here, do it anyway, so you show the manager that you're more than good enough to be a part of this team. But anyway, that is my predicted starting 11 for this game. Like I said, not a completely changed 11, but various positions that have swapped players out. I do think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will get a rest, obviously, A, because of his lack of pre-season, B, because of the injury that he was carrying towards the end of pre-season, and C, because we've got a Premier League game on the weekend. And I do think Richarlison will get a rest as well because of how much football he played in the summer. I think you'll see various changes along the back line, goalkeeper, but who knows, maybe Rafa Benitez will just go with a strong starting 11 and, really, really show that we're serious about this cup competition. We will have to wait and see, won't we? Anyway, we're going to finish it up there then. Difficult game for Everton. Certainly not one to be overlooked, but again, certainly a game that we should be looking at going out and winning, and hopefully we can do it comfortably as well. Massive thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. We will be back tomorrow morning with another live stream. We're going to talk some transfers. We haven't talked transfers for a while, so we're going to sit down and talk about some rumours and players, etc. And then obviously we'll be back tomorrow night with the instant match reaction and the player ratings to the game directly after it as well. Massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button if you have enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let us know your thoughts on everything, and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.